What's up, everybody? First edition of Lush Hour here. Google Hangouts, Patrick White. We have Teddy Bailey, Chuck Alcock, Dan Black. We hope this is working right. Honestly, we've never used it before. We just spent about a half an hour working on the name thing. And Chuck, say hello.
Hi, I'm Chuck. Contrary to what your screen says right now.
Yeah, so Chuck doesn't have one, but everyone else has figured that out. But yeah, excited for a good show. This is something we want to do this summer because we're bored and we want to talk some sports. The hardest thing, honestly, was figuring out the show name. How long did that take us, guys?
Yeah. Couple weeks.
More time than it should have.
And it's not like we came out with like a fantastic name.
Yeah, but
it's always get it.
It's always the hardest part. Like with anything, if you're creating a website, a blog, a radio show, podcast, it doesn't matter. The name's always the hardest part. You can make a logo, you can have a good show, but like there's so many like podcasts and like sports shows out there that like every name's taken, so it's just hard to get something like creative.
Yeah, so we figured with Lush Life, and if you look up Lush on Urban Dictionary, you'll either see that it's pleasing or desirable. That's one definition, and another definition is extremely alcoholic. So that's going to be the kind of the way our show is. We're going to have it.
Yeah,
drinking, but then
I'm
again,
the
it's
pleasing and desirable part.
We're going to be hammered the entire time.
Who knows? Dan may be drunk right now. I mean, who knows?
Nah, I just got back from work. I'm not ready for that yet.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to have a great show. Talking some NBA finals. NBA draft, USA soccer tonight. So yeah, let's get this started. What did you guys think about the NBA finals?
The whole thing or just Game 7?
Whatever the hell you want, Dan. Whatever the hell you want.
Personally, I knew the Cavaliers are going to win the series.
Mm-hmm.
I called that from the very beginning of the playoffs because I knew they would just beat everybody in the East. And I did not believe when Steph Curry got hurt that Golden State would even have a chance, in my opinion.
Dan, I kind of call bullshit on that.
What? Yeah. No, I swear to God.
All right, yeah, but like,
let's see some evidence.
Okay. They tore up the East. The East was terrible.
Golden
State set records. They were, arguably the best team in NBA history. They got through an Oklahoma City team that, just as well could have beat Cleveland and might beat Cleveland next year. So like, don't give me that shit. Like, oh, I knew Cleveland was going to win because they tore up the East. The East is ass.
That's not the only reason, but it's because Steph got hurt too, and I knew once Steph was out. No one else, and once the Spurs got knocked out in like the first round, no one else could have beat the Cavs.
Hey Dan, there's a reason Kevin Durant is looking to go somewhere in the East. That should give you a hint at what the East is like.
I get it, and that's why LeBron's not going to leave the East because he can win it every year. I wouldn't leave either if I was him.
All right,
I don't think LeBron's planning on leaving.
What were you saying, Chuck?
It's not like the Dan. You're acting like the Cavs just blew through the Warriors. Draymond Green doesn't hit LeBron in the nuts. The Warriors win that series. So it's not like you called it and the Cavs just
100% agree with
won the thing. It wasn't easy. It took an historic 3-1 comeback for the Cavaliers.
I get that, but I also don't think Draymond Green getting suspended. I still think they would have won Game 5. The Cavaliers.
I agree with that, Dan. I agree.
LeBron, Kyrie, they all said, all we had to do was win Game 5. Game 5 was the series. We all knew it was going to go 7 once Cleveland won Game 5 in Oakland. I think if Draymond Green plays, they win that game. He's just a difference maker. You saw what he did in Game 7, especially in the first half. I think he had 22 in the first half. Firing on all cylinders. The dude can do it all. I just think, with that 3-1 lead, they had that momentum in Game 5 to kind of get the job done, and, they just didn't. That's what happens when you kind of have to go down to your bench and play like Mo Spates and Barbosa a couple minutes. So, if Draymond Green's in there, those guys don't play, and, he kind of gives them an extra presence. So, no, fuck that, Dan.
And the loss of Bogut can't be understated either. People kind of write him off in terms of his relevance to the Warriors because he didn't start in last year's series, and when they took him out of the lineup, that's what turned it around. But his rim protection was unreal. LeBron, after he went out, LeBron was getting to the rim at will, and people kind of overlooked that loss too. I think the combination of Green and Bogut helped the Cavs a lot more than people realize. And that doesn't take away from what the Cavs did. Don't take it that way. It's just I don't think the Cavs were that clear-cut better team that you can that confidently say, yeah, the Cavs were winning. I called it. I didn't even have to watch the game, so it wasn't like that.
Yeah, it was kind of funny how Bogut and Love were both just basically shit on for the entire series.
Right.
Kevin Love's not doing anything for his team. He's the kid in the group project that gets the A+ but doesn't do anything. All that nonsense. And Bogut, come on. Andrew Bogut's a very good inside presence for them. Would have been huge. They had to play small. There were times where Harrison Barnes was their 5. Are you kidding me? How are you going to stop Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love from getting 15 rebounds a game? So I think if Bogut's in there, if Green isn't, but you can play that game all day. It's just what happens. Cleveland on the third square. As a LeBron hater, it's over. There's not much you can really there's not much you can really get on him for. He promised the city of Cleveland that he would deliver, and he delivered. So. Hate the guy, but all props to him.
I don't know how people hate LeBron as much as they do. I mean, he led in points, rebounds, assists, blocks, and steals, I think. But, I guess I understand because he can be cocky. But Harrison
Barnes, because of the Miami thing mostly. Because of the way he handled the Miami thing. That's when it started.
People hate winners. People hate. He's an odd. I said this to someone. He's an odd personality. One minute he's Mr. Arrogant, Mr. Confident, cocky, whatever word you want to use, and then the next minute it's praise the man upstairs, the man above, and he just has this weird tangent. His press conferences are bizarre. The dude's a weirdo, and the whole decision thing, that was his arrogant side, and the whole coming back to Cleveland thing was his mission prophecy thing. So he's just a weird guy to root for, but people will always hate on winners. That's just what happens, and a guy that dominates sports like that, you're always going to get some hate, but he's just kind of a weird dude. I think that's what draws people against him.
Yeah, so now here's a good question to pose. Could David Blatt have coached this Cavaliers team when they were down 3-1 to a championship? Because Ty Lue, he was a little unexperienced, but he made it happen. How big of a that was?
Well, I firmly believe that if Blatt was the coach, they would not have come back from 3-1 down because, it was an historic thing, and David Blatt simply did not have the players. LeBron James clearly lacked a level of respect for him necessary, and, that team's going to go where LeBron goes. And, if David Blatt's drawn up a play late in the fourth quarter in Game 7, and LeBron says, no, we're doing this instead, that's just a not healthy dynamic. And I just really feel like the relationship between Lue and the players, more than the X's and O's, is what allowed that comeback to take place.
Yeah, I guess I agree with that. When David Blatt was fired, they were 30-11. They still had the best record in the Eastern Conference. They probably would have finished the season as the 1 seed. That's just how the East goes. They probably would have made easily the Eastern Conference Finals, probably the NBA Finals, if I'm being perfectly honest. But yeah, I think the 3-1 deficit. You're going to have to bounce. You have to have, some sort of ability to overcome adversity with that. And, Chuck brought up a good point. Ty Lue definitely did get along better with the players. It seemed like Blatt was kind of an outsider guy who didn't really know what he was talking about. And Ty Lue, might not be the best coach ever. Honestly, this is opinion, but NBA coaches, many of them might not know what they're talking about, but it doesn't really matter. Ty Lue took the right timeouts. He had the right players on the floor. He listened to LeBron. He listened to Kyrie. He gave them what he needed to do, and they probably gelled. It was probably just a better chemistry. And in the NBA, when you have so many egos clashing, you just have to have a guy that can listen to everyone. And Ty Lue probably did that. Obviously, we don't know what happened, but yeah, I don't think David Blatt comes back from the 3-1 deficit. I don't think that team really rallies behind him. That's just me.
And also Lue, even though he didn't have that NBA coaching experience, he did have finals experience, had been in the finals, had won with the Lakers. So I don't think that can be understated either. Him saying something in the huddle in the finals, the players are definitely going to absorb that and, listen in a little more because of his experience as a player.
You're waiting for me because you guys covered basically everything else.
I don't have to be salty, dude.
No, I just said there's nothing else to really say. What?
You have anything? You have anything to say? If not,
they basically covered it. In my opinion, whether David Blatt's there or not, obviously they have more respect for Tyronn Lue. I think more because he was an actual player and he's been through, full NBA seasons and an NBA career, more so than David Blatt, who basically came out of the blue as some dude that was successful in Israel but had zero NBA coaching experience. And I think they just respected Tyronn Lue. And in my opinion, they don't even really need a coach, but because you have LeBron, whatever LeBron says, whether he's gonna
you don't think the Cavaliers need a coach?
I mean, the coach is LeBron. LeBron is the coach, the GM. He's everything but the actual owner, in my opinion. Because no one's gonna say no to LeBron.
Hey Dan,
NBA rotations are very important.
I know, I get that. I get the whole rotation thing and everything, but when it comes down to it, if you're Tyronn Lue and LeBron says he doesn't want to do something, I would listen to him. I would rather listen to LeBron, who has a much better career, and in my opinion is one of the best leaders in the NBA, if not the best, and can control everything. I think he just does whatever he wants. Obviously, there's some instruction from the coaching staff, but to me, he makes the general decisions when it comes down to it.
But also, LeBron said that was one of the reasons he respected Lue more, because Tyronn Lue would actually tell LeBron no. LeBron could kind of push Blatt around whichever way he wanted in a huddle, and Lue would tell him no. And that was one of the big differences between the two coaches in LeBron's eyes.
That probably happened, but I don't know how much I'd buy it. I mean, like, LeBron was clearly
that's fair too.
He was clearly the superstar, the coach, and the GM of that entire team.
Right.
He told the ownership who he wanted on his team, and that's why if he lost that finals, people would be killing LeBron James because he basically handpicked his team and he lost. So, like, what are you going to do? Like, no other player can just be like, I want, Mozgov on the bench. I want, let's bring in Richard Jefferson, great veteran president. It's like, no.
It's not like we're the best team in the
I don't know. He set himself up for success, and if he failed, he would have been killed for it. So
right.
Did succeed. Do you think that Kevin Love is going to stay with Cleveland? Because you saw during that series, I mean, LeBron was just shitting on him at points. There was that one time where Kevin Love did something like decent, and Kevin Love went to go give him a high five, and LeBron did nothing of it.
Apparently, he wasn't giving him a high five. He was like trying to show like he put his hands up or something.
Yeah, I'm sure
that's what they were saying on ESPN, and LeBron was yelling at him about that.
Is that what your sources told you, Dan? Is that what your sources
was showing LeBron the dead fly on his hand?
I don't know.
That's what people are saying.
That's what people were saying. I don't know if it's true. Obviously, I wasn't on the court to know.
Oh, really,
Dan?
Really?
Yeah.
Dan was not. I
wasn't there.
Dan was on the court.
I wasn't there. Couldn't make
if you squint, Dellavedova and Dan look similar, so you can understand the mistake.
Maybe a little bit. I mean,
but do you think Kevin Love will stay with Cavaliers?
I think he's kind of a hard piece to move just because he didn't perform the way most expected him, especially in the finals.
Okay,
and because he's owed so much money.
Oh, you say that, but they won. So that changes everything. Like, if they lost, you won that entire series on Kevin Love.
I think there's also an economic issue with it too. The fact that
he's under contract until 2020. Like, what are you going to do?
I know. That's what I'm saying. That if they were to try and move him or something, there's not many teams that will want to take him. Because
there would be teams that would take him.
No,
it's there's no market for Kevin Love.
Well, obviously, but I'm saying there would have been probably more suitors had the contract been, $20 million less or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I mean, this is all speculation, obviously. I mean, I don't think Kevin Love's going to leave. That just doesn't make sense. Cleveland owes him like $100 million, so, I mean, have fun with that one, guys. But, I mean, I think the more interesting speculation is, I mean, LeBron is entering his last year in Cleveland. It was only a 2-year deal. Does he stay in Cleveland? Like, I say no. I mean, there's stupid speculation of like him ending his career in LA or something like that, or New York or a market like that. But I mean, I think it's just, if they'd lost that finals, I don't even think LeBron comes back next year to Cleveland. I don't know how that would work. I mean, like, I can't imagine LeBron James being traded or something. But I mean, all right, maybe he would stay for the second year. I guess that makes sense. But I think it's really interesting to see if LeBron James actually ends his career in Cleveland, because I don't really see that. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah,
You don't see that?
I actually do.
I think he signs. I think he signs one more year, and then I think he signs like a 1-year contract this offseason, and then moves on. I think he tries to do more in Cleveland, and then
I think he retires in Cleveland. I firmly believe he will wear another jersey. I mean, you can see the emotion in him that didn't compare to the emotion when he won his 2 titles in Miami. I mean, clearly
100%.
Something about Northeast Ohio means a lot to him. I mean, it's his home. And, you know, if he keeps winning, which I expect him to, I mean, you're talking about how bad the East is. I just firmly believe that he won't. The grass isn't always greener, and I think he kind of realizes that now. I think he's going to stay.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think that, like, he says different things in this, but I think we can agree that he came to Cleveland to win a ring for the city, and, you know, just so the fans and city didn't think he was a huge dick, and which he was. He left in the most dick fashion. You don't just do that. So I mean, I think, you know, let's say they win, you know, the title next year, which we'll talk about in a second, but that's definitely viable. If LeBron James never count him out. So say he wins 2 rings in Cleveland. I mean, he did way more than anyone expected him to do. It's, you know, their first title since '52, I think. I mean,
62, I think.
What is there to stay? I mean, he can keep, like, it's a great situation for him because he can basically handpick his team year in and year out, which he's going to do next year, of course. But I mean, like, LeBron James really wants to be in Northeast Ohio. I mean, I know he, you know, was born in Akron and, you know, is an Ohio guy, but I mean, it seemed like he had a ton of fun in Miami. I mean, this is all speculation, of course, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't see it.
See, I think he's more worried about winning a title in Cleveland. He has it set up perfect. Like we were just talking about. The East is so damn easy. And I mean, he's gonna win. He can get paid. Like he says, he's basically a GM, like Dan said. I mean, I don't really see him leaving ever. I think he's going to be a Cleveland Cavalier for the rest of his career.
Yeah, I mean, the East is getting better. You know, Boston's finally, you know, kind of done rebuilding. Atlanta's great.
Toronto.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what, you know, how the Bulls. You know, this is a huge offseason for them. Who knows? You know, the Sixers could be like
Pacers.
Sixers and 5 years ago for the 8th seed.
But I don't know.
What were you saying there, Chuck? Pacers?
Maybe, I don't know. I was coughing real hard.
That's every Pacers fan ever. Maybe, I don't know. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, because we don't. I mean, Larry Bird, we have the best coach we've pretty much ever had, and Larry Bird fires him. I mean, the Pacers really don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, do you think that, like Teddy, you just said that he is getting better? Do you think somebody like Kevin Durant would try to come over to the East somewhere?
This is interesting. I mean, there's a lot of talk with, like, the Warriors right now. They want to add Dirk, which, you know, I saw that today or last night or something.
Dirk he opted out of his contract.
Yeah, he's a free agent, which is kind of a shocker.
I was surprised. I thought he'd be there.
That he was going to opt out and sign for less money so the Mavs could acquire more talent. But, you know, obviously, if a 73-9 team calls your phone, you're gonna listen.
Yeah, and especially for Dirk. I mean, he's 38. He can still play. You know, he's not going to want to be the star. I think that's kind of, you know, preposterous. You can see what they did with, you know, Iguodala. He's not 38, and when he came to Golden State, he certainly wasn't 38. But, you know, look, Andre Iguodala was the guy in Philadelphia. He's not the guy of a championship-winning basketball team. Dirk right now is certainly not the guy for a basketball team. He would benefit from going to Golden State. Kevin Durant, I think he stays in Oklahoma City. That's just my thought. I think he really wants to get it done with Russ. And I think, you know, they were so close to getting to the finals this year. I think, you know, if they were in that series, you know, they would have put up just the same fight that Golden State did. It's just a different team logistically. So I don't know. I mean, to answer your question, Kevin Durant, I think he stays. But if the Warriors added Dirk, why not? I mean, that's a win.
Yeah, I agree with you, Teddy. I think Kevin Durant stays, but if he were to go, I can't imagine him going to Golden State just because, I mean, these are competitive men we're talking about. You don't get to the NBA without being competitive, and I just find it very hard to believe that after getting your heart broken in the Western Conference Finals that you just turn around and join them, like the if you don't beat them, join them type thing. I don't really think – I don't imagine Kevin Durant having that mentality. I think – you know, if anything, he'll want to come back and beat them even more. The one place that I do give the slimmest of shots to is the Wizards, just because that's his home area. But if I was a betting man, I'd say he's signing a 1-year deal in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, and if he doesn't,
and then they're both free agents next summer. See what happens.
I'd like to see him in Portland, but that's just because I like the Trailblazers.
Can we kick people out of the?
Yeah, really, Dan. I think you're not going to be.
I'm not saying that he. I don't think he'd ever do that. I'm just saying that would be cool.
Can we rename this? Can we rename this show like "Shit on Dan" or something like that?
Where we could just like down people. I guess I could mute Dan, but I don't want to be too mean the first show.
I'm just
not
saying,
PTI. Around the horn.
Around the horn, yeah.
Oh, there you go. The lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Well, sue us now.
No, we're good. We're not getting sued. But I think Kevin Durant. I think he'll stay in OKC. It's too good there. But okay. Next year, you think it's going to be rematch? Cavs again? Who are you thinking?
I think you definitely have to take the Cavs.
Anybody
to win the East at least.
I think the Warriors.
That's not saying much.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm just.
I think the Spurs. I think the Spurs are due for another title. They win one. They tend to win them in the years when you go in and think they aren't going to win it. I mean, Kawhi Leonard's one of the best top 5 players in the league. LaMarcus Aldridge another year in that system. Duncan's going to retire. That'll free up a little space. They'll acquire more pieces. And as we were saying earlier, coaching doesn't matter too much in the NBA, but elite coaching does. And Greg Popovich makes a huge difference for San Antonio.
So you think San Antonio will be the champs next year, Chuck?
I do. I do.
Okay, well, I actually think it's going to be this is no fun, but I think it's going to be an exact rematch. Just because the Cavaliers are just so good with LeBron. He's always, this was a 6th straight NBA Finals game. He's just unbelievable. And the Warriors, they are just, you know what they did this year. I just can't see, even though OKC almost got them, I just don't think, unless OKC adds a piece, I just don't see anybody really beating them either. So I think it'll be a rematch. And then I have no idea who would win. I guess since we're making the prediction, I'll go with the Warriors getting redemption. So Warriors your championship, but that's not saying much. But I don't really see. Yeah, that's just what I see, a rematch again.
I think
go ahead,
I think it may not. Honestly, now that I rethink it, I don't know. Obviously, the Cavaliers will be the favorites based on the past 2 years, and any team LeBron's on, they're the favorite.
Great analysis.
Especially in the East. But the Celtics are obviously getting better. They have a lot of,
No!
What? I'm not saying they're going. I'm saying it's going to be more competitive.
Oh my God.
I think they will be significantly better.
Thanks, Dan.
Dan, I'm not showing your faith anymore.
Dan, the question actually was who's going to win the title, not like who's going to.
I know, but I'm trying to make a different point that's going to get to it. But if I'm picking a winner, I'm going with the Cavaliers.
Thank you. It took a little while.
Thank you. Thank you.
Trying to
this is an hour show. It's Lush Hour, Dan. It's Lush Hour, not Lush. Take your sweet goddamn time hour.
Yeah, it doesn't help. It doesn't help that he says like 1 minute or 1 word a minute.
It will be interesting to see what the Warriors roster looks like next year, because Harrison Barnes will be a free agent. Azili. And I think there's a couple other guys on their bench that are free agents, and you don't go 73-9 without an elite bench. And if that bench takes a step back, I think that hurts the Warriors a lot more than people realize.
Can we talk about how bad Harrison Barnes was, especially in Game 7?
Oh my, yeah.
I mean, this dude's this dude's trying to he's been in the conversation for getting a max contract, and I know with the salary cap inflation max contracts are being given out like free candy, but like the dude was horrible. Like he was taking terrible shots and not really they weren't close. I don't think their bench really helped them out. I mean, when I was watching that series, I'm like, I know who they have. And I was like, it seems like they're lacking like a fourth guy because, Steph, Clay, they're dependable. I mean, Steph's, they're shooters, so some nights they're not going to fall. That's fine. Draymond's usually there for them. But, like, there were times where it's just like, wow, are they playing like 3v5? Because the Azili, Barnes, like, but I mean Barbo's, like Spates, like I feel like they had a lot of dead weight, and I feel like their bench was great during the regular season. It just didn't show up. It'll be interesting to see what they do with that bench, because I think they could definitely bring in a guy that helps them give them a really like star-studded starting lineup, and I feel like they're kind of lacking that right now.
Yeah, I mean, for sure people will be willing to take pay cuts to go to either Golden State or the Cavaliers, so that could be one way that the Warriors add to that bench depth.
Yeah, I don't know.
What kind of water are you drinking, Teddy?
Right now we're on Deer Park. They actually.
Deer Park is the best. Yes, that is the best water.
So that's Fort Wayne.
Heard of it, and he was in Indiana too.
Turn, Teddy. This is gonna turn on where you're shitting on Fort Wayne.
Well, I do that. I do that regularly. So.
That's true.
Okay. Well.
Today we're sponsored by Deer Park. They went through a rebranding process. I picked this up the other day, and it's just a whole new label. It used to be blue and yellow, I think, and now they went with more of the nature, and you can taste that in the water. So it's just great. So we're sponsored by Deer Park today. Pick up a case, and it's hot right now. I don't know what it is in Fort Wayne. Their weather's a lot different than the East Coast, so they're kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So
it's beautiful out here, Fort Wayne, right now. I almost wish we would have done. I would have done this show like outside or something. It's that beautiful.
That'd be great. I'd love to see all the farms.
Teddy, I had a sizzler this morning for breakfast, and I thought of you.
Dude, it's Hoagie Fest. Happy Hoagie Fest, man.
I'm trying to get a T-shirt.
Dude, I picked up today. They added this grilled chicken sandwich. Today I picked up. I went with my usual breaded chicken barbecue. So barbecue sauce on the chicken, melted provolone, some lettuce in there.
I don't know. I think you got to go with the meatball sub.
I mean, that's fine.
Man, you have taste buds.
It's Hoagie Fest.
It's meatball sub there is amazing.
But Dan, it's Hoagie Fest. It's all about the value.
I get that. I know. I got $1 off a shorty today from some dude at work. He was giving out free coupons or whatever. So. Dude,
when Mark Franz and I went to the spring training game in Florida, they have Wawa's in Florida. Now, apparently that's a thing. I think they've had that for a couple of years. But people in Florida are like, all right, what the fuck is this? But they were giving out free coupons for free shorties, and I took 15 of them. It was just a pile of them. So I've just been cashing them in, and I go there regularly because I have all these free coupons. So the registered people are just dude, how do you get all these coupons? But I don't know. Sorry,
I mean, I have a whole elaborate thing. I illegally print coupons all the time, like money.
Wait, you want me to describe what the hell we're talking about?
Wawa or a hoagie?
Yeah, hoagie. I have no idea.
Right, hoagie.
You're
Cliff Huxtable. Come on, man.
A hoagie is a sub. It's the same thing. Grinder, sub.
Okay, well, yeah, I know what a hoagie is. Yeah, I understand.
Hoagie Fest. Okay, Hoagie Fest is a month, maybe a month and a half long thing.
They always say it's a month, but it ends up being the entire summer.
Yeah, it's the entire summer. So it's just you get a foot long for $4.99, and you get a 8-inch for $3.99 or something like that. So it's usually $1 off the size of the hoagie, basically. So it's just a deal.
And also, everyone's encouraged to do the hoagie pogie.
No.
Okay. It was worth a shot, It would stick. It didn't.
No, it didn't.
But Dan,
it's okay.
Dan, I picked up hers kettle, and I usually get with the salt and vinegar kettle cooked, hers. But today I picked up smoked chipotle.
I like that one. That's a good one.
Great decision, dude. It was a little tangy. That might be on the radar.
I like anything with a little barbecue flavor to it.
Yeah, I mean, mesquite barbecue doesn't do it for me, though.
Right, but that one's good.
All right, you guys want to talk about the draft?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
Oh, yeah, let's get back to sports.
Since we're talking about
that's what this show's about.
Anyway. That's the first pick.
I guess they already said who the first pick is, didn't they? Ben Simmons?
So today, the Sixers, it was funny. The story was, a person in Cleveland broke it. It was this Cleveland.com beat writer or something. So it was hilarious that the entire Philadelphia media just went right over their head that, who their team is picking with the first overall pick. Their first overall pick since AI was drafted in 98, something like that.
96.
Whatever. Before I was born.
One of the best draft classes, actually.
Okay, thank you, Dad. So it was announced they're going to pick Ben Simmons. Big debate over Simmons, Ingram. It's kind of, taking the city. Once Carson Wentz was, drafted, only people, and the Phillies have fallen off the cliff. The only thing people care about here right now is the draft. So it's kind of nice to know who we're going to get or who they're going to get. So Dan, as a fellow, Philadelphia native in the ratty town of Abington, Pennsylvania.
We got a new geotag, not very good though on Snapchat.
Dude, we don't even have we only have geotags at our school, and then we have the Delco geotags. And I'm pro Delco, but
Fuck
you gotta have a value.
Anyway, go on with your question.
What are your thoughts on Ben Simmons being the first overall pick? How does he fit into the Sixers? Stuff like that.
I mean,
apparently, is Dan our Sixers insider?
Yeah.
Sure. It's the Philadelphia bias.
Yeah. I mean, you can't not pick him, in my opinion, just because the potential that he has. He's similar to Ingram, their body types at least, very skinny, tall guys. I care about the bodies. I like big body basketball players.
And girls, Dan. And
girls. A little meat on it. No. You're going to keep that between us and the other people on our freshman floor. But it's not the point. Anyway, I mean, he definitely, I think, has some more of an upside than Ingram. I think he's probably going to become a better defender. I think that he just has to become a more consistent jump shooter, and will have to be able to become a more consistent outside shooter. But obviously that's something that he can learn to do. He's going to be a professional. He's going to have to be able to do that more often. To me, the only thing why I would pick Ingram over him is because of his attitude. I feel like he doesn't really want to win as much as he wants to try and, create a brand, which he originally said he wanted to go to LA to be able to, make a bigger brand for himself, although Philadelphia is like the 5th largest city in America, but obviously it's no LA. And the fact that he just left LSU. What'd you say?
I said Fort Worth.
Yeah. No, and the fact that he just left LSU right after they lost, he didn't even, manage to stay the extra month and a half or 2 months, whatever it was, till school's out. And
if you remember,
go on.
If you remember the Naismith, I mean, he wasn't even in contention because of his grade. So basically, he didn't do anything.
Right, and to me, it kind of shows that he doesn't care. And it showed that he also cared a lot about basketball because he wanted to stop to be able to prepare to be a great professional player, and that's fine. But it also, to me, shows that he only sort of cares about himself and not the betterment of the team. And I don't really like that.
Yeah, but he worked out today, dude.
I know. I saw the pictures with, I think it was Embiid.
I get the whole personality character thing, but you're picking
something
the
you
best
can work
player.
on, obviously.
No, but people in Philadelphia were getting their whole panties in a knot because of this thing. Who cares? I mean, you're not recruiting the kid for your collegiate program. You're drafting the best player in the draft. Period. So I don't think it just doesn't matter. He worked out for them today. He had a nice conversation with Brett Brown. They know each other. Seemed like he answered the right questions enough for them to be yeah, we're going to pick you. So, I don't know. You got to trust the process, Dan.
I think no matter what he said, they were going to pick him. What?
Who do you think they should pick instead then, Dan?
Well, obviously Buddy Hield.
Oh, my God.
Do you think Buddy Hield?
I'm just kidding. No. Obviously, they want to pick Buddy Hield. It would either be him or Ingram, and I think if you're being safe, picking.
You say that, but they've been really high on Chris Dunn, crazy high.
They might trade for that third pick.
No, they've really Chris Dunn.
Especially if they're bringing Saric in. Are they bringing Saric in?
Yeah, Saric is playing.
So that's, another large human.
They have a lot of large humans.
6'10".
I mean, NBA teams tend to have large humans. It's kind of how the dice roll.
I mean, yes, but at the same time, like the NBA has become a huge guard-heavy league. You saw that with Steph and Clay. I mean, like Dan said this before, Sixers need shooters. I guess Ben Simmons, Simmons and Ingram, they can both shoot. I mean, they showed that.
See, I don't think Simmons can really shoot.
Simmons can't really shoot that well.
Yeah, I mean, every single time he was almost like a point guard. He would drive to the lane.
Yeah, true.
People would back off him a little bit.
I think he also lacks a little bit of confidence as well. Because there were times where I think obviously, if you're going to be the first pick, you're going to have to, and on a team like the Sixers where they don't have that much, besides, two big men, he's going to have to become more confident in his shot.
And also with the Sixers, he has nothing to lose. So, I mean, you might as well shoot the ball and get better at it and then sign a max contract out in L.A. or something like he wants to. But
Thanks, Matt. Relax.
Plus, this is a weaker draft, and I think he's so good at everything else, you have to overlook his mediocre shooting and pick him number one. I just think he's an elite rebounder. He's an elite attacker, and he's an elite passer. That's a combination that you can't ignore at 6'10".
Yeah, and he's a little more mature than Ingram is. He's more than a year older than him. He's a bigger body. I mean, like, it's fine. I'm always worried with a dude that like dominates. He's like the leading scorer on his team. He's the star of his team, but
it's LSU.
It was LSU. Like
it's not like he was playing for UNC.
Yeah, so like there wasn't really anyone else who could have taken his points away. So I'm afraid it's a little I hate stats in the NBA draft. I hate stats because it's completely relative to what they are for their team. Ben Simmons was probably a large percentage of his team's scoring. So I don't know. And Chuck, you say it's a weak draft. I think it's a weak draft after like the first 6 picks because I'm really high on guys like Jamal Murray and Jaylen Brown's really good and Buddy Hield's.
I'm really high on
Buddy Hield.
I'm not as high on Jamal Murray. I think height really bothers Jamal Murray. IU fans know that pretty well from the Sweet 16 and. But I mean, a guy like Chris out of Washington, like I've watched a lot of footage of him. I don't really see what makes him a top 5 pick. I don't think this draft screams immediate star. So like I'm not saying there aren't guys that are going to develop and be elite, but I don't think this isn't 2003. This isn't one of those drafts where there are multiple players who are going to come in right away, start on playoff team. You know what I mean? It's just not.
Sure. Yeah, you're right.
Ted.
Yeah, like this mock draft I'm looking at, Skal Labissière is projected 11th, and Skal Labissière was atrocious for Kentucky the entire year. So, I mean, it's just a weaker draft. But
that's just what happens, dude.
Ted, what do you think about the guy?
He didn't live up close to his potential.
Bembry, Dan?
Yeah, the guy with the afro.
43. Yeah, I mean, like, they got 2. They got Bembry and Isaiah Miles.
They were saying he was like a top 20 pick.
Yeah, dude, they've both been doing really well in pre-draft workouts. I've followed it a good amount. Yeah, I mean, those are guys. I think what we're going to see, I mean, this is just roll of the dice, but I think we're going to see a lot of, I say this every year, honestly, but, like, I think there's, like, a lot of talent in the, late first round, mid to late second round. Draymond Green was drafted in the second round. Like, I feel like there's guys that can kind of, like, this is another Michigan State guy, but Denzel Valton was a hell of a college basketball player, and those guys get written off in the NBA because they lack athleticism, lack explosiveness. But I mean, he's a good basketball player. I think there's a lot of good basketball players in this draft. But yeah, Pat, the Skal thing was weird. He's been hyped up for a couple of years now, so we'll see what happens.
Another guy I think kind of fits into that late first round, early second round mold that could be an elite NBA player is Bryce Johnson. I think he's slipping down draft boards because of his age, but I think he has the athleticism, maybe not the strength, but he can shoot a little bit. He's skilled, and I think he's 1 or 2 more just abilities, skills away from really being able to be a force on an NBA court. So I agree with you, Teddy, that there are some of those kind of hidden gems in this draft.
What about Thon Maker?
No.
Okay, well now.
How did he get drafted?
Yeah, Thon Maker. Yeah, what do you think?
What?
He impressed people at the combine with his play and the way he was talking to
His
people.
whole
But everyone can talk to people.
His whole story is just weird.
No, I know, but he impressed him with his play too.
No, I know, but I'm just saying when you bring up the...
He's just odd. Like the last couple of years of his life have just been a mystery.
I completely missed who we're talking about. I'm going to be honest.
Thon
Maker.
Thon Maker.
I mean, that's the reaction you get every time his name comes up. Oh, Thon Maker. Oh, the guy that was, I'm going to go to Arizona State. No, my, Guardian's going to send me to Notre Dame. Oh, I guess Indiana's still in the mix. And there were times where I was like, oh, he's going to do the, he was the kid that went to China and got drafted, and he had a pretty good rookie year in the NBA.
Emmanuel Mudiay?
Yes, I thought he was going to do a Mudiay thing. I thought he was destined to just go overseas because he didn't have grades or he didn't go to school. Something, yeah. I don't know.
That's what's smart to do.
There were just so many questions.
I thought if he went to college, it would be like a Chake Diallo situation where something wouldn't get cleared. He'd be on a roster and just not play because he never got
Chuck,
in the flow.
we talked about this. There was legitimate consideration for him to go to school for a semester, come in late December, play a semester, literally play the conference season and the postseason, and then go to the NBA. It was just weird. It was wacky. So that guy.
I would have loved that. That would have been pretty badass. That would have been an absolute power move by him.
Absolutely.
It would have been to a big fuck you to the NCAA. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no kidding. That goes against pretty much what college basketball is. But I do think it'll be interesting. He'll kind of show if the D-League actually develops players, because that's where he's going to be. He's not physically strong enough to have NBA bodies banging with him 82 nights a year. He's going to be in the D-League for at least a couple of years, by my estimation. At least,
And that's tough to say. If he goes in the teens, you don't put the 15th overall pick in the D-League. If he is a somewhat decent summer league, you're going to put him on your roster. The D-League second round goes straight to the D-League. Troy Williams will probably get picked up by a D-League team. We'll talk about that in a second. But I don't know if you send you're paying Thon Maker a lot of money to play for your D-League team. I don't know.
I would be shocked though if Thon Maker is picked in the teens. I think he's a late first rounder, possibly slips down to the second round.
That's what I was thinking.
That's all the stuff we're discussing, and I think physical strength is a huge issue for him, no matter how athletic he is. And I don't think he's as skilled as YouTube videos and hoop mixtape videos make him.
Obviously, you can make a hoop mixtape video look good with anybody. I can make it.
Dan, if someone made a hoop mixtape video of you,
if the rims were lowered to
that account would be
lowered to 7 feet, dunking all day.
Thanks. Dan.
Okay, Dan. Wow. What do you want? You want an award for that or something?
No, just be a good mixtape.
He just wants a ribbon, man. Just a ribbon. That's all he wants.
Participant ribbon.
Exactly.
Chuck, to get back to that, you're right. He's a wire. His body's a wire. He's 7'1", 215, I think. That's been the whole thing. Yeah, he's 7'1", but he's 215.
I didn't even know he was 200 pounds. To be honest.
When you're 7'1", you're gonna have to be.
If you're 7'1" and not 200 pounds.
Yeah, but
I watched him in high school when he would play these events. I guess I think I saw him once in my life live, and I watched videos, and you just look at his legs, and it's just I just feel like they're gonna snap. And you can say that for a ton of basketball players, and that's terrible. He might turn. He's a great. I think he legitimately has athletic ability. But the problem with big guys is what is it? Injuries, and they can't do anything other than rebound and dunk. So that's always the question with big guys, especially when you're 7'1" and 215 pounds. So I don't know. We'll find out. I'm definitely curious.
I could see him being like a Greg Oden type where, obviously he's not hyped up as much, but he's tall, he's skinnier than most people think, but he just keeps battling injuries. And I think that he would go in there and just get bodied up by some of these. Even a guy like Draymond Green, I could see him.
Oh my God, I'd love to see
Zach Randolph will box Thon Maker out into another dimension.
Put him into the third row.
I would love to see a guy that has half a foot, Thon has a half a foot on him, but the 6'5" guy just completely obliterates him. That'd be a great time.
Yeah, he's definitely got a ways to go development wise. I think any team that's drafting him also knows that. He's definitely a
He's
a huge upside, huge risk type of pick, and I don't think that's any secret.
Yeah, he's a project.
All right, well, let's switch it over since we're some IU guys. Yogi Ferrell, Troy Williams. Do we think they're going to get drafted? If so, when and where?
Nope, nowhere.
I think Yogi slips in somewhere in the second round. He's getting pretty good reviews in terms of his impression he's making in workouts. I don't think Troy gets drafted. And I don't think I'd be shocked if Troy Williams ever suits up in a regular season NBA game. He might be like a last cut sometime. You know, Christian Watford, IU people know he was on the he was the last cut on the Boston Celtics roster and therefore played some preseason games. That might be Troy's ceiling, but and you know, who knows? I mean, IU people also, Verdell Jones is apparently kind of close to getting in the NBA after being in the D-League for like 6 years. So players can improve over time, but from what I've seen from Troy Williams right now, I don't think he's an NBA player.
Yeah, I mean, Chuck, you have to realize how hard it is to get drafted. I mean, there's 2 rounds. It's not like the NFL draft. It's certainly,
or the MLB draft at 30 rounds.
Certainly not like baseball. So, I mean, like, it's hard. I mean, Yogi Ferrell, I saw like your retweets, and I've been following it a little bit. Like, yeah, like he's worked out for a good handful of NBA teams. Apparently, he's been good. I mean, they're going to love his IQ. They're going to love his IQ. Yeah. They're going to love his leadership, even though he's going to be a rookie. He's a strong IQ. He makes good decisions on the basketball court. His height's going to be the thing. I mean, I still think that if Yogi Ferrell was 2 or 3 inches taller, I think his ceiling would be a lot higher. But yeah, I think Yogi could be one of the last picks of the draft. It's a shot. If a team down there is that impressed with him, they could take a gamble on him. I mean, like, what do they have to lose? If you're the last pick of the second round, like, it's either the guy you're drafting, or you can just pick up the undrafted guys for your summer league team. So like, it doesn't really hurt you. Yogi will get picked up by your summer league team regardless. Troy will probably get picked up by your summer league team.
He'll for sure be on a summer league team.
It's really not that hard. But I think Troy's gonna have a damn good career overseas. I agree with that.
Yeah, Troy will make a lot of money playing basketball. That's not what I'm saying.
But not in NBA.
I don't really question his decision to leave. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
I don't see how his stock possibly goes up.
His stock doesn't
go up. A year without Yogi Ferrell. Think about how many backdoor cuts Troy Williams had that Yogi Ferrell hit him. How many lobs? IU's not going to have that point guard next year. Troy Williams would be asked to take more shots. His field goal percentage goes down.
Exactly.
I don't think his draft stock goes up playing another year in Bloomington.
Yeah, he was kind of in between there, a rock and a hard place because if he comes out, he doesn't really have that big of a stock, and if he stays, nothing's going to change too much next season.
Because he's a year older, and you know how the NBA is about drafting older players.
Right, and that's sort of the problem Yogi has as well. If Yogi was 20 years old and coming out this year after the season he had, then it's different.
He's still 5'11".
But some of Troy's critics said that he needed to develop his shot more. And at IU, Chuck, like you just said, he could have done that because he wouldn't have had a guy like Yogi to find him on the backdoor cut. So he would have had to learn how to create space and knock down some threes a little bit better. And I saw some scouts that really wanted him to return, but he did not want to at all. That was his biggest thing. I mean, do you remember what his mom tweeted or put on Facebook?
Oh yeah, in Maui, man, that was bad.
He wanted to leave. Troy wanted to leave.
Bad in general.
Wasn't it literally Troy needs to get the fuck out of IU? Wasn't that literally what it was?
Didn't he want to leave last season or after his sophomore year?
Yeah, he wanted to leave last year. He wanted to leave.
He very much wanted to leave. I think Yogi wanted to leave too, to be completely honest.
Well, yeah, and then Yogi realized that that's just not going to work out. So
he will get drafted, though. I think he'll get drafted late second round. Some team will pick him up. He's impressed some scouts. Like I'm looking at one mock draft, 55 to the Brooklyn Nets.
Awesome. I mean, it's like not a bad pick.
Who's even?
He can drive through the lane.
He's a great shooter. I mean,
Yogi Ferrell would be a great backup point guard for
absolutely
a middle of the pack NBA team.
For anybody, I think he would be a great point guard for anybody.
Can we spend the last 9 minutes talking about soccer?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll do that. I'm actually repping, if you guys can see.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, I use soccer, Tim Howard. But yeah, so This is pretty unbelievable, actually. USA Soccer versus Argentina tonight, Copa America semifinals. Don't think USA has ever made it to the semifinals in this, but Argentina, world number 1. Do you think USA has a chance?
No, I don't think they have a chance. I hope. Look, it's going to take a perfect game. It's going to take a perfect game.
Even with
they're missing. Look, they're missing Ale Bedoya, who was great. Centrally, and Jermaine Jones is fine. Like I'm more worried about Bedoya than Jermaine Jones. Bobby Wood played a great. Bobby Wood played a great game against Ecuador. It'll be like this lineup is going to be interesting. I don't think they have a chance. Leo Messi's goal away from breaking the all-time Argentina record. He's tied for the Golden Boot. But this team's been different. Ever since I lost to Colombia, and ever since the Gold Cup and then the playoff loss to Mexico, when it looked like a dumpster fire. It really did. Expectations, personally, I was like, all right, let's get out of the group. Like, this group really isn't that great. They can, beat Paraguay. They can, whatever. They can beat Costa Rica, and they did that, and they won the group. So I don't give them a chance, but they're gonna have to play a really sound game. But what I was saying today is it's great that we have this. It's great that this is even a question and that we're talking about this. They're in the semifinals of a major tournament against the best team in the world. I don't really care if they have a chance. Just the fact that they're here is great. So I mean, whatever. You just got to play.
It's going to take a big. If they want to keep it close, it's going to take a huge game offensively from Dempsey. He's really been the only one to score.
Argentina's going to score goals.
No, Messi, I think, gets at least a hat trick, and then Higuain's going to play out of his mind. He's been playing like that since.
Unintelligent soccer fans are Dempsey's going to have to score a ton of goals. Clint Dempsey doesn't create goals.
I know, but he's not the only one to really score consistently.
You have to feed Clint Dempsey, Dan. Though, you can't just be Clint Dempsey's going to get the ball on the out of the edge of the 18. Yeah, but someone has to give him the balls to finish. That's way more important than having Clint Dempsey. No, I didn't.
Watch all the games.
But you're just for Argentina to win, Messi's gonna have to score. Of course, Clint Dempsey.
Messi won't even need to score. Messi doesn't even have to score.
No, Messi won't need to score, but he will score. I watched him. I went to the panel.
He doesn't even need to play this game if he doesn't want to, and they'll still
19 minutes.
The way Higuain's been playing. Are you kidding?
I do think that this is very good for just American soccer, kind of how Teddy was saying, that we're at least in the situation to discuss this, particularly with us not playing in the Olympics later this summer.
All right, this is bullshit, though.
No one cares about Olympic soccer anyway. So
but a large portion of the American public, that's when they would watch U.S. soccer, that and the World Cup. Some people more so than the World Cup because they watch the Olympics more than the World Cup, because soccer's not a big sport here. So I think it's really good to have U.S. soccer on the airwaves if you want to continue growing that.
I feel like
you can expand it in the States.
I'm looking at something right now. And go ahead, Ted.
Go ahead, Deb.
Oh, that was awkward. That was really awkward.
That was funny.
Hey, we're getting through it,
Oh,
Are you going to go or am I going to go?
I'm going.
Talk.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
We've been talking about this for seemingly my entire life about how could this be the game that makes American soccer
right?
Great?
They say it in every tournament.
Literally every tournament. Can we just stop that? Can we just let the fucking team play games? That's a shitload of pressure to be this is the game. If they win this, American soccer is going to be great. It's going to be revolutionary.
They're never going to be great. There's just too many other.
No, I think that's bullshit. I made this argument. It's embarrassing that the United States isn't good at soccer. Isn't great at soccer. It's embarrassing.
Not really. Think about all the great athletes.
Yeah. But you say that, but compare our population to the population of Uruguay. Uruguay kicks our ass in soccer. And it doesn't matter about our best athletes because our worst athletes are still just as good. We have people
going up against Lionel Messi. Think of LeBron. If there's no other sport in America other than soccer, and guys like LeBron James were playing soccer, he would be unbelievable. I mean, I think America would be. I mean, obviously that's not going to happen, but I think they would be unbelievable.
Yeah, but like you look at like the resources we have, the funding we have. Like so many kids play soccer. I played soccer growing up. Like we're given everything. We're given like beautiful fields, uniforms. Like our parents can buy us cleats for the most part. Like you go to like any like Ghana beats us. Ghana like
I mean, you're taking a country with a population.
It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But there are reasons.
Okay, this is my entire argument. Argentina's population is 40 million. Ours is 318 million. We should kill them in soccer. It doesn't matter.
But it's the cream of the crop of athletes.
Okay, fair, but if you have more athletes, you should be able to spread them across every sport and dominate every sport if you have 271 million people in your country.
But
you should,
our best athletes are spread out over so many more sports. Even though we have good athletes playing soccer, they aren't playing our other great athletes because all of our athletes are divided up into different sports.
Exactly.
That's true. Yeah, I guess that's true.
That's the thing. The division of sports here in America is, I mean, really what? But no, but I mean, I think this game, I mean, soccer in America is getting a lot better. Better, like they're playing wise and more wide known. Like I'm looking right here, and each game so far has broken Fox Sports record for like viewers and 2.1 people against Game 6. So that's still a lot of.
And
people.
you're seeing a lot more of the young American. And you're seeing a lot more of the young American players, you know, playing overseas in top clubs. You got, what's his name, Pulisic or whatever, playing in Dortmund, the 17-year-old.
Pulisic, a kid that's literally lives like 30 miles from you.
Yeah, I know. It's from Hershey. And then you got
Tim Howard
or whatever from the Red Bulls, who's playing for Chelsea. You know,
Tim Howard's going back to the MLS, Dan.
Well, yeah,
I said Tim Howard.
I said Tim Howard.
Oh, okay.
Yazger.
The national team's growth is going to depend on MLS's growth. MLS is growing at a crazy rate. The league's only been around for 18 years. The fucking Barclays Premier League has been around for over 100. So like where the MLS is right now compared to like where any league was in their first 18 years is crazy. MLS is great. Go Union. That's all I got to say.
Actually, the Barclays Premier League has only been around for about 24 years. But, you know, it's not the point.
24 years, that's it?
Yeah. I mean, like, it used to be just like, because in England they have like 7 different tiers, but before it was only like 3, and they would have like 30 in the first league, or in the first flight, and then...
yeah, you're right, but, like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that's good. Any final last-minute thoughts on anything? Because we're right at 7 o'clock, so we're...
Dan sucks.
Everyone that has a Twitter account, tweet #KevIndyRant. It's a movement. Kevin Durant in a Pacers uniform next year. Odds are against us, but it's going to happen. It's a grassroots movement. Everyone come on, pitch in. #KevIndyRant. It's happening.
That's not going to happen, but do follow us on
Twitter. I'm well aware.
Oh, my God.
I hate Teddy.
That's propaganda.
Do you want to block Dan Black as well? Yeah, I'll block Dan Black. Yeah. But, yes, follow... Oh, shoot, I blocked him permanently.
This is mean. You should.
Awesome. That is great.
Okay, anyways, yeah, so we're wrapping up the show. Follow me on Twitter, @PatrickWhiteIU. Teddy, you're on Twitter as well.
Chuck,
Teddy Bailey. Chuck, Alcock, you don't have a thing up today.
At Chuck and Duck 10. Chuck, letter N, Duck 10, like a grenade. Chuck and Duck.
Okay, I'm not sure if Dan. I blocked him on accident.
Don't on Twitter, please don't.
Yeah, don't follow him. I'm not sure even how to get him back, honestly. Okay, well that was
all right, guys. And now let's do what we agreed to do at the end of every Lush Hour one. We're all gonna sing the Lush Hour jingle at the same time. 3, 2, 1, go. Lush Hour, Lush Hour.
We're stopping the broadcast.
All right.
Okay, all right, well, we'll see you every Tuesday, 6 to 7 Eastern Time, not Central Time, unless you're Chuck. But, yeah, thank you guys, and we'll see you next Tuesday. This was Lush Hour. See you later.